Hello everybody, my name is Abhishek Kumar. I am here to describe my project Library Management System, which is provided to me from Edyoda. Let's talk about my project. What my project basically consists of. My project basically based on basic Python and their tools. This project describes function and OOPS concept clearly. My project used to demonstrate nearly all topic of essential Python uh, through this project. Let's talk about my project. What's my project basically is? My project basically is library management system, which is nowadays famous in every university, institute, school, because every institute consists library, and to keep record we use library management system. In this, it is designed to keep record of all books with their name, writer, catalogs, and published date, page number, rack number, and lots of details. It demonstrates proper distribution of book to student with their record. Library management system also contains all the record of issuer, librarian, and members, eh, with their names, details, and everything. It describes the sequential arrangement of book in the library with their all data. Let's talk about the flowchart, which is basically the function and the class defined in my project. In my project there are several classes. First, user, which consists lots of variables like name, which is string, location string, age integer, Aadhaar ID string, and user is accessed by two other classes, librarian and member. In librarian, one other instance variable is defined, employee ID, which is integer. Librarian can access all the data like add book item, remove book item, add member, remove member, view member, search member, view reserved book item, and view issuer. Librarian act as admin of the library, means he can do all the internal process of the library, like he assess the member and add details of the members and access the book to the members. And my second class, which is accessed by user, is member, in which there is a new instance variable defined student id, which is string, a cross with the name, location, is Aadhaar id. In member can search book, which is by title or by author, and also can issue book, referred by reserve book, and return book, and also can apply for extension date of a issued book. And member is directly accessed through issuer. In issuer, it is given that reserve book, return book, extend date. It's all, these all are the function which is defined inside issuer, where member can reserve book, return book, extend date. And also other class fine, which is used to calculate bill, which is assessed by issuer for taking that, if a member is not taking book after the time limit, and after the time limit he had to pay uh, fine on the books. And these all classes are directly attached to catalog, where all the details are fed, means how to the processes of the all the defined classes and function are defined in catalog. Like add a book list as a new instance variable, which is like a list, empty list, which is used to add book item in the list. Like in catalog, we defined a add book, where a new book can be added in the library by the librarian, which is only accessed by the librarian. Also add book item, remove book item, This is defined by access by only library, and other search by title, search by author, display all book, these are assessed by member. And update issuer, it is also assessed by a librarian, because he can update the issuer. That means if member issue book, then he is updated by the librarian. And next, add to reserved list, which means that when member issue a book, then this book is added to the reserved list, which is issuer uh, on the issuer id. And also remove from reserved list means when you want to remove the list from the issuer list. When issuer return the book, then we have to clear the his data from the library. And we also can see we reserve book item that issue that member has issued. And also we can see lots of issuer in the library, which is also assessed by the only librarian. Now catalog is assessed by two other classes, book and book item. In book, we add book item, like book item means rack, ISBN. And also we can add book. In add book we can use name, publication date, uh, writer, and pages that in the book. And print book we use to display all the books present in the library. If there is no book, then library is empty. When we add book, then we use display all book. We also from define here view reserve book items, because we have to see how to reserve a book item through book. And also we can use view issuer, update issuer, add to reserved list, and extend. And this book is also accessed by a other class, book item, in which book is a object, ISBN is a string, rack is the string, info is the dictionary, which contains all the details of the member or librarian. In this we define add reserved books, update issuer, add to reserve list, extend dates. This is the basically a flow like a path chart of the library management system. Now we can go through the flow chart type, in which we can see that how they member and librarian access to the server. A member which can reserve book, that is register. Register means he can access all the books and save in the register. And view search book, which is used to view and search the book, required book by the member. And also member can reserve book, return book. Return book is accessed by two other classes, calculate fine and display book. Calculate fine, which include means it calculate the fine imposed on the issuer. And display book display all the book content. And also here can extend book time, and which is directly accessed by the server, that is our library management system. And librarian can add, remove book, add, remove member, view search book, view reserve book, issuer and issuer info. Let's come through the my code. And I did this code in my PyCharm. Let's walk from the first class fine, where we defined calculate bills, in which we could pass days, means maximum days for issuing book is Jan. And if days is greater than maximum, then there is a per day fine imposed on the issuer. Let's another class book item, where we take a list reserved book item, and define a function add reserved book, and initializer, where we take a book, ISBN, rack, and info dictionary. We then define update issuer, where we add name, student ID, and days. Next we define add to reserve list, where we add book, item in the reserved list. Now then we define extend date. How to extend that if issuer want to extend. Next we define issuer from, and here in issuer we import book item from book item. In issuer we define a class define a function def reserve book, where we pass name, student id, book title, days, and we search this book item in the catalog box such that to take book item and update issuer and add it to the reserved list such that to the issuer get the book. If book not in the catalog, then we print the book you are trying to reserve is unavailable. Then we define a function return book, where it pass return book item and days, which is used to remove the book from the reserved book item and calculate fine. And we pass the function that we define in book item extend date to extend the date. Now we define the book class. In book class we import book item from book item. Here we initialize self, title, author, category, publish date. This is required for the book item, details of the book. Then we define a book item where define ISBN and track and access this through our previous class book item that we defined about this ISBN and track. Next we define print book, where we used to display all the book items, and we reserved book items how to see all the books reserved by the user. And then we define a view issuer, where we see the issuer info and then update issuer, and we pass through this is from book item, and then add to reserved list also pass from book item, and extended also pass from book item. Now we define a catalog class. In catalog class we import book and book item. In catalog we take a different book count which is equal to 0, which is used to count the book when issuer when a library at the book, to count the book number in the library. And we define a books list which contains all the book item book details. We then define a class method add book list to append all the books. As I refer here, it is available only for admin. Add book where we pass title, author, category, publication date. We here pass through it book that we imported from book. Okay. Then we access through his catalog to add book list, that is our class method. Then we add book item and pass. We define a remove book, where we search for books in the catalog and then add it to the different book count, and we reduce the different book count and delete the book from the catalogs. And we then remove book item similarly in the way of remove book, and we search by title, which is accessed by the member or user who want to issue the book. Because he want to search which book he want to issue, then he will search through title, that is name of the book. Similarly in the way of he will search also by author name. And now we display all the book in the library. For this we pass a function display all books, and we call it through the catalog for displaying all the print book item. And we here pass through print book, which defined in the book part to display the book item. We here pass update issuer, which is also from book, and add to result is also from book, and remove from reserved list, which is passed from the book item, and extend also from book. We define then function view reserved book items, which is defined in the book class. Now we pass through the user. in user we imported user from user and catalog. In user we define name location is Aadhaar ID as the instant variable, and in the initializer we then pass a view books which display all the books defined in the catalog. Then we create a class librarian which is accessed by the user in which also initialize through init and call it to super, which call the same function from the user. In this we add book which we defined in catalog. How to add book, as we seen in the catalog that how to add a book. Let's see, add book we use here catalog and book. Similarly we add book item, remove book item, add add member. It's a new part which is used to add the new member in the library. Similarly in the way we also can remove member, which is done by the only librarian as he is the admin of the library. Similarly we view a member, uh, search member by name in the member list, such that we know how much member in the my library and whom we want to access their details and delete their name or any other things about him. Similarly we pass here function div user book item which is defined in the catalog. Similarly we issue which is through by ISBN. We issue ISBN means now we defined a new class member which is also accessed from issuer, where here we pass a member list item and a class method to add new member in the member list. We here pass an initializer, name, location, age, Aadhaar ID, student ID, and we call here through super, and this process add name, location, age, Aadhaar ID as defined in the user. Here we pass our instant variable student ID as a student ID and create a book list, issued book list as a list. Now here we pass search by title function defined in catalog, author. To reserve book we created a small concept here how to reserve book in the issued book list. As we pass days is equal to 0, maximum days is equal to 10. We then search member in the member list. If member in the member list of the library, then he can easily issue the book. Similarly we pass a return book, extend dates. Now come to the my test function part. In test function we import system, book, catalog, librarian, member. Then we pass a member which is BIS Bangalore 23 as defined in the users. Then librarian we add book through add book and add book item. Also we can add book through catalog. It is similar way but I did not show here. Now we call 3 is librarian lib dot add book, that librarian can add book new. Then we created a concept where if while true then we make a enter choice from issuer or member, where he can print. If he enter 1 then we display book, 2 issue book, 3 return book, 4 search book by name, 5 search book by author name. Then we pass print a statement that is the librarian tech please log in with librarian ID to perform task, where we search member, add book, remove book, add member, remove member, view member, and we created a user choice list like that. If user choice is equal to 1 Then we view books to all the book present in the library. And if to reserve book means issue a book through member, as we pass through member 1 m1. Then user choice 3, through which we return the book. User choice 4, to search by title. User choice 5, search by author. User choice 6, search by member. User choice 7, to add new book in the library, which is only assessed by the library. Here we pass book name, quantity, author, rack, publication date, and pass through the lib add book. User choice 8, to remove book from library. 9, to enter new member in the library. User choice 10, to remove member. User choice 11, to view member. Now we run our program test function. Now see, we added a book items as we defined in the test function, like we add book sway dog, where we can see that sway dog easily and displayed. Sway dog is added successfully, and it's book item one book 123 pk and 12344. Now new book Kafka. Similarly, lots of the books, and we then pass welcome to our Antik library, please. Now let's see some examples how to access the book. Then pass 1. Here we can send all the book details here, and also the total book count in the library. Let's pass see once again to go through the librarian. Now we can to add a book, issue book. Like I want to issue Kafka on the so. Now pass my name Abhi. For how many days? 7 days. This book you are trying to reserve is unavailable, some issue, pass through it. Let's pass it. I don't know why this is happening. Let's take a 7th part. Add username as without Avantik. Now we can add in library. Now we want to add a book. The new book is C. Quantity pass to, oh sorry, 7. Avantik. Now we can see enter quantity of 2, 3. Name of author E. Bala Guru Swami. Enter the rack number H1 B2. Enter the published date. Let's pass 2012. Now pass page number like 340. Now we see that book C has been added successfully, book 3 has been added successfully. Now we want to remove the book. We can pass 8. Oh sorry, C. To continue, here we pass 8. Username Avantik. Password GKE101, that is the one employee ID. Librarian working not defined. Let's pass it. Okay, and similarly we will also see our member. We are now going to see all the list of member. That is, we added only one member, that is Vish, who is from Bangalore, STD1233. Now that's it about my the project. short project. Thank thank you for me being with me during whole project. Thanks a lot.